The American Literacy Crisis Explained by Jared Henderson. Let's watch this shit. Boom. Boom, 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 boom.
The headlines. Kids these days don't know how to read. Literacy is on the decline. Kids don't read.
I used to read all the fucking time, chat. They made a competition in school to read, chat. Logging in book logs. Getting your reading level up. Them reading out all the kids' reading levels, and you're realizing, damn, I'm logging the fuck out of these retarded ass other kids I'm with. This kid got a what's the letter? Either it was D to A, with D being the low. Yeah, dude, a fucking D in reading. That's your reading level, fucking idiot. And it's been a D for the last 3 months. I've already moved up two reading levels since we started this shit, you dumb fuck! But nowadays, motherfuckers just be on the game. Little kids just be on the iPad, just on TikTok. Ain't no fucking reading a book these days for these little motherfuckers.
Read for pleasure anymore, and some want to say that we are living through a literacy crisis. You'll even see some claim that 40% of American kids can't read.
Is this true, chat? 40% of Americans can't read? Because that's what is reading? What do they mean by reading? In 2024, 40% of 4th graders and a third of 8th graders had below basic reading skills, according to the National Assessment of Educational Progress. Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got these little 4th and 3rd graders, they fucking retarded. No, 8th graders? 8th graders? Oh, 40% of 4th graders and a third of 8th graders. Yeah, 4th graders, they fucking retarded. Bro, an 8th grader below basic, you a fucking dumbass kid, bro. Holy shit. Why, though? Let's talk about it. Get into the video.
That's not true, by the way, and we're going to talk about that later.
That's not true, by the way. Okay. All right, calm.
Or is this just a long-standing failure dressed up as something new?
Dude, I really think it's a teaching diff. It's a skill issue. It's a teaching diff. They no longer give a fuck. And it's harder to get kids engaged with reading material when there is the poison of doom scrolling that's available to kids from a very young age.
If you want to understand the American literacy crisis, you need to know 3 numbers. First up, 40%. That's the percentage of American 4th graders who cannot read at what's called a basic
What's
level.
a basic
Every
level?
few years, students around the country take a test called the National Assessment of Educational Progress, or the NAEP.
Word.
This is also sometimes called the nation's report card, and it allows us to track educational progress throughout the country. Reading scores have remained relatively stable since 1992 until 2019, when they started to decline. Sometimes that's reported as saying that 40% of students can't read, but that's not what those statistics mean. So now 40% of 4th graders can't read at what's considered a basic level, and only 31% can read at what's considered a proficient level. The NAEP
What does that mean?
also defines
4th grade students performing at the NAP basic level can likely to do. Okay. Alright, cool.
those terms, and just because a kid can't read at basic level doesn't mean that they can't read. The literacy crisis doesn't stop at elementary schools, and that brings us to our second number, 28%. That's the share of U.S. adults that are at the lowest level of literacy. In the last decade,
Okay,
that number
maybe
has
they
increased
can
by
read. They
nearly
just can't comprehend what
It
they're
doesn't mean that
reading.
those adults can't read.
Maybe it's a
but it does mean that
comprehension
they're
skill.
what's called functionally illiterate. This means that they lack literacy skills which would allow them to navigate the world and go about their day-to-day tasks. And our final number is 21. That's Mississippi's ranking in 4th grade literacy as of 2022. In 2013, Mississippi was ranked 49th. They were basically at the bottom of the country's ranking.
Oh shit.
And now they are well above the middle. That's because they saw the problem and they actually tried to solve it. So at the end of this video, we're going to talk about what Mississippi has done right. But first, we're going to take a slightly closer look at that NAEP.
Mississippi? Oh shit.
Literacy scores have been declining since 2019. This might not be that surprising because something rather big happened in 2020, which caused a lot of school closures.
COVID, yeah,
and we've
okay,
generally
cool,
seen
calm.
learning loss across the board.
Okay, that did fuck.
Absenteeism is also up
And then they
post-COVID,
fucked us,
which
yes.
does complicate actually teaching kids how to read. One group of student hasn't seen a decline in their test scores though. These are students who are already in the 90th percentile. So what we're seeing is a widening gap
Is it
between those students who are reading quite well
the
and
smart
those students
people?
who are struggling to read at a basic level. This
Yes.
tells us something
Okay,
important.
cool.
If we
So the
want to
retards got
improve
more
American literacy,
retarded.
the biggest impact we can have is by focusing on
So
those
the
students who
dumbasses
are
got
struggling to
dumber,
read the most.
and
that's going to be important when we
the
talk
high
about
IQ
Mississippi in
beings
15 minutes.
continued being
But
high
even those
IQ.
top-performing students, like the students who would go on to study at really great colleges and universities, are also struggling. At the University of Texas here in Austin, some professors told their school newspaper that they would be shortening reading assignments and transitioning to assigning things like YouTube videos and audiobooks instead.
Are you
of physical
serious?
books
I gotta get in
because
school,
students simply
bruh.
didn't have the
They're
patience
making me
to
not
read
read no
assignments
more,
anymore.
and like,
One professor was
right?
told by his students that Shakespeare's Hamlet was too long to read. Now, Hamlet is the longest Shakespeare play, but it is about 30,000 words. It's much shorter than the vast majority of novels out there. These professors cited things like the rise of video content.
Holy shit! They literally said, bro, like, dude, they can't fucking do it no more. They can't read in elementary school. They can't read in middle school. Like, bro, this is a university, guys, and they can't read here. Go ahead and throw them a YouTube video, chat. Go ahead and throw them a fucking put them in a Zoom meeting. Like, they writing, chat GPT.
Phone usage as leading to a decline in their students' reading abilities. But they've decided that they have to give in and change with the times so that they can meet their students where they are. That same professor who was told that Hamlet was too long, he used to teach 10 plays per semester. He's now teaching 6 in his classes. So even college students at good schools are struggling to read. And many of them are going to become adults who hardly read at all. Many Americans simply don't read books, and I think about 10% of college graduates haven't read a book in the last year. They don't know how to read, and maybe that's because
I'm gonna keep it a buck, chat. I haven't read a book in the last year. Probably haven't read a book in the last 2 years, and I'm sorry about that. That make me a dumbass. But you know, it is what it is.
Because they haven't been taught how to be a good reader. All right, let's pause for a second and ask ourselves.
Pick my mom up from work and drop her off.
What?
I gotta pick my mom up from work.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yeah. I love you.
Love you too.
I'm chilling.
What it means to be a good reader. The psychologist Daniel Willingham has this book called The Reading Mind. And in this book, he points out that reading is actually a fairly demanding task. First, you have to be able to understand the word.
Dude. You gotta. Hello? Hello. How long ago did I mute my mic? Okay, anyways. Fuck it. Whatever. I'm just gonna talk about the point that I was talking about. You got some fucking Tolkien in front of you. You got some Lord of the Rings in front of you. You reading the fuck out that bitch. You reading the fuck out that bitch perfectly fine. No fucking problem. You in a whole different fucking world. And by the time you look up, 5 hours passed. Word to my mother, bro. Illiterate fucks.
Words on the page, and that's
Name 10 books.
usually what
These girls are illiterate. They do not know how to read. Name 10 books.
we mean when we say that we're teaching kids to
Game
read.
of Thrones?
But actually reading
That's not the
involves
book.
3
What's the
additional
name of
levels
the book?
representation. You need to be able to extract ideas from sentences. You need to be able to then connect the idea across those sentences, and then you integrate this within a model in your mind that answers the question of what the text is.
It's a
But
fucking
Willingham notes that
comprehension
many
issue.
readers fail at the second level. They're not able to point out obvious contradictions in a paragraph that they read. If you're not reading at a level where you could even catch obvious contradictions, then you're going to struggle when you're reading sets of instructions or complicated forms. And really that contributes to what we called functional illiteracy before. That's that illiteracy that makes it difficult for you to navigate your day-to-day life. Being able to connect ideas is actually a skill that you have to develop. And I found that when
Dude, like, imagine you send some motherfucker a text or a set of instructions or an email, and they don't know what the fuck it means. They get it wrong because they can't fucking read. You in your fucking Smite game, and you type somebody what to do, and they fucking stupid ass. They don't know what to do. Bruh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You dumb motherfucker.
philosophy at some universities, that skill was something that my college students still needed to develop. I found that the worst question I could possibly ask when I started a discussion of some text in the classroom was, what is this text about? Because most students could tell you what some of the sentences said, but they weren't able to form a picture of the cohesive whole. That meant that I had to guide them through interpreting the text. I would have to ask them questions like, what is the thesis of this article?
What is the thesis? Dog, you ask the motherfuckers there's a thesis, they're not gonna get that.
And then, is there any irrelevant or unnecessary information in the text? This was a process that I would guide my students through so that they could learn how to read better. But there was another barrier that my students faced, which is that they lacked a lot of background knowledge, which helped them make sense of a text.
Oh,
Let's say you wanna
shit.
read a really big book like War and Peace. Well, War and Peace is a historical novel. It is set in a particular time and place. You don't need to know all of the historical details in order to make sense of War and Peace, but having some idea of European history and maybe France's connection to Russia, knowing who people like Napoleon or Louis XVI are, these are things that would be useful for you as you're reading. It would make
This
reading
is
War and Peace
true. Like the just having some general basic knowledge about history and just other shit in the world is always just useful. Like I've always wanted to know more. There's never a bad reason to know more. Like knowledge is extremely fucking powerful. Like learn, motherfucker, learn. Like shit just isn't hard, just learn.
less demanding task. And I found that a lot of my students lacked historical knowledge or just general world knowledge, which would make reading books easier. I think part of this has to do with the fact that at some point we started to emphasize critical thinking over memorization of facts. You can find this a lot in popular discussions of pedagogy. The idea is that you should teach students how to think rather than what to think. And there's some truth to that. But I think there's a crucial error that's being made there, which is that actually learning about the world and learning facts about the world goes hand in hand with learning how to
Dude,
think critically. Because it
facts,
allows you to build a
what
mental model
actually
of the
happened,
world and
reality and what actually happened is so fucking useful to draw upon. Because it's an established pattern of history, dude. Like, what the fuck? Why the fuck would you not want to know what has already been done? You feel me?
see where new facts might fit in or where they actually contradict things that you should already know. Critical thinking and memorization might actually go hand in hand, and they help us to produce better readers. Now, some experts do not want to call this a crisis.
Dude, like every time I'm like I doom scroll chat, I do scroll like fucking shit ton. But my TikTok be full of sometimes some knowledgeable shit. What the fuck? Yeah, I want to learn about this shark from long ago in fucking prehistoric era. Hell yeah, I want to watch this fucking 2-minute TikTok about this shit. What the fuck? Yes, do I want to learn about the attempts at building a time machine? Absolutely, motherfucker.
One researcher from Harvard University described
Am I gonna stop at this fishing video that's in my TikTok at 1 a.m.? Yes, I am. I am gonna watch this nature adventure. I am gonna watch this hike. I am gonna watch this fucking what does this computer part mean video on TikTok that's randomly right under a brain rot video. Cause bro, I'm mixing in knowledge with the brain rot.
American reading education as a very stable level of mediocrity. We've never done a great job, and things have been getting a little bit worse, but this isn't new, and it's certainly not unprecedented. And there is a lot of fear-mongering about this. Let me tell you about the National Literacy Institute. If you've seen those headlines I mentioned about American literacy, there's a chance that you've seen statistics from this website. For instance, you might have heard that 21% of American adults are illiterate. But actually look at the website, and I'll put a link down below as well. There's no explanation for that number, about 21% of American adults being illiterate. No definition is also given of what they mean by illiterate. And the numbers you find on this website...
So that could just be straight up bullshit, because they just calling anybody illiterate because somebody can know how to read, but reading comprehension is a different thing. They're not illiterate. Not literally illiterate.
Are painting a much worse picture than the numbers that you find elsewhere. I actually emailed the National Literacy Institute to ask them where they got these numbers and if they could explain some of them to me, but I did not hear back. And if that changes between the time of recording and the time of posting, I will issue a correction. I'd be happy to do it. But some fact checkers reached out to the NLI in 2024, and they also never heard back. Those fact checkers concluded that the NLI was using an overly expansive definition of illiterate. They were also describing
So they've been asked before, like, yo, what's your source? And they just ghosted them.
data that they were citing, and
Said nope.
they were misleadingly describing their data as new, when in fact this data does not come out on an annual basis. National Literacy Institute is just another name for the National Literacy Professional Development Consortium. That's a private company that sells professional development courses for teachers.
Bruh.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, teachers often need more professional development as they further their careers, but the fact that they call themselves the National Literacy Institute sometimes makes it seem like they're a research center, and it gives a lot of authority.
Dude, they ain't even a fucking valid research center.
Website uncritically.
They are fucking frauds? Chat?
I've even seen other YouTubers cite this when they talk about American literacy. I don't think those YouTubers were trying to mislead you. I think that they had the best intentions, but I think they got fooled. But seriously, look at the website again.
They got fucking fooled?
There's no sources. There's no research methods.
Source?
There's nothing like that. It's just bullet points and numbers.
In
Where do
numbers.
the numbers come from? Well, the website doesn't tell you.
They said,
I think
yo.
anyone honestly looking
They
at this
asked
video
them where they
would say
came
there's a
from,
real
and they
problem
didn't even
with
fucking
literacy.
respond.
But we have to be able to say that there's a problem without engaging in fear-mongering or simply lying about it. Fear-mongering might even give you the impression that this is a problem that can't be solved. And that's not true. Like I mentioned before, some states have started to find solutions, like Mississippi.
Like
Between 2013
Mississippi.
and 2022, Mississippi students dramatically improved their reading scores. This was a period where most states saw a decline. This was such a dramatic improvement that some commentators started calling this the Mississippi miracle.
The Mississippi
But it's not a
miracle.
miracle. It's just good policy. Because one researcher from the University of Toronto found that this improvement was linked to the Literacy-Based Promotion Act, or the LBPA. The Mississippi legislature passed the LBPA in 2013, and that bill did a couple of things.
Well, what did it do? Did it incentivize kids to read more by a reward structure?
It expanded access to full-day pre-K programs. It focused education on phonics and the science of reading. So it actually
Word.
changed
Oh, it
how
shifted
we teach
educational
students how to read.
programs.
It invested in professional development. For
Word.
teachers.
So it wasn't just some incentivized bullshit like I was thinking. It was straight up like an entire fucking legitimate plan. Holy shit, W Mississippi. I would not have expected this from that dumbass state. Expanded access to full day W, and W. Because teachers were also fucking stupid, I guess.
Because they would need more training. It identified struggling readers and then targeted them.
Oh shit, sweet. So they found the dumbasses and like, yo, bro, we got you. I'm a pocket teach you, dog.
Interventions. So if a student was falling behind,
All right, so they pay for the premium coaching. All right, I got it.
help when it came to reading. And finally, some struggling third graders were held back for a year so that they would have more
Oh,
time to
shit.
develop their reading skills.
They
The simple
held
description,
back.
though, is that the LBPA took literacy seriously. It gave teachers the training they needed. It focused on struggling
Why does that
readers,
guy look like that
and
guy?
it gave kids time to learn how to read properly. So the LBPA had a very strong impact on those students at the bottom. It helped bring a lot of students from that below basic category to basic, and also students from basic to proficient. It had almost no impact on students who were already proficient, maybe moving them to the advanced category. But that's to be expected given the kind of interventions that were in the bill. What Mississippi demonstrated is that the decline in American literacy isn't inevitable. We can solve this problem, and it actually only cost Mississippi $15 million. That sounds like a really big number, but the state's budget is $7.6 billion.
Oh,
So
shit.
we are talking about fractions here.
Fuck, literally, that's not even. I don't know math. I'm not gonna say anything.
This doesn't solve every problem. There are
not
still
even
adults in
1%.
the United States who are functionally illiterate. There are plenty of adults who can read but simply choose not to. And we still need to figure out what to do about college students who can't.
I
keep
gotta
up
read
with
some more
assigned
fucking
reading
books, chat.
schedules.
I'm not gonna lie.
Mississippi's
I gotta do
success
some more reading.
shows that the
It will
literacy
bring calm to my life and peace to my heart.
crisis can be mitigated. We can help more people learn to read if we're smart about it. Before we go, let me ask you
Change of
one
hair.
question.
Ad
Are you looking
time.
for a way to learn more and to stop
Ad
using your
time.
phone? Or do you want to have a healthier relationship with your phone and to use your screen time wisely? Well, if that's the case, then you should check out Imprint. Imprint is a beautifully illustrated and animated
Word.
learning
Talk to me.
They've built a highly visual and effective learning experience that's all based on bite-sized learning. They were named by Apple as one of the top educational apps, and they were generous enough to sponsor this video. Imprint is a way for you to learn about topics like philosophy or psychology or the science of happiness. And along the way, it's helping you build a daily learning habit. In fact, it only takes a few minutes per day. It is designed so that you only need to spend 2 minutes on the app in order to get the best experience.
2 minutos.
So it's easy to fit Imprint into your busy schedule. One of the most popular courses over on Imprint is Essential Philosophy Theory.
Oh shit!
This is a
Essential
month-long
ph-
philosophy
oh
course that was
shit!
written by an actual university professor. This course touches on some of the most important philosophers and ideas throughout history, starting all the way back with Plato and Socrates. To try everything that Imprint has to offer for free for a full 7 days, you can scan the QR code, which is on the screen right now, or you can go to the link down in the description. The first 200 of you will get 20% off an Imprint annual subscription.
What? That's the video? Alright, that's the video, chat. We're gonna go ahead and link this. Go ahead and paste that in this chat. Yep, go ahead. That's the video. What a W video. I like the video. American Literacy Crisis Explained by Jared Henderson. Thank you very much, Jared. Wonderful video.